And we're live. Greetings, friends. How are you? Welcome back to Free Roam Fridays. On Fridays, we free roam. J-Lash is in the chat with some thumbs ups. Five thumbs ups. I had to count them. I thought there were 6. What's that about? Thank you, J-Lash. I always know I'm going to have a decent stream if we have J-Lash with the thumbs ups. Thumbs ups to J-Lash. Frodo Swaggin says, Frodo here, reporting for the stream. Greetings, Frodo. How are you, my friend? Appreciate you being here. Happy Friday. Hope you had a good week. David V, channel member and mod, is back. Back in action, back in the saddle, as it were. Appreciate you, David. How are you, friend? David says hello to J-Lash and Frodo. Miko Herptile, newly minted mod, says, hello, Superantonio and Sadie. Hello, mods. Good morning and evening to everyone. Sharp Frost says, hi, folks. Greetings, Sharpie. Miko says hello to David, Chrissy, J-Lash, Frodo, and Sharp Frost. Frodo says, I have the stream on the laptop and the game on the Xbox, running a dual screen. That's how I optimally want everyone to watch my videos. Just have them on the background, kind of like the radio, while you work on whatever you need to work on. Batzaro is here. Greetings, Batzaro. Happy Friday. David says there he is, and there she is, and has a bat emoticon for Batzaro. Faces in trees. Note that these are all Viking faces, except for one Indian guide and a dark idol. How is everyone? 7 viewers in the chat. How are you, friends? I am in an excellent mood. We had a very good month. Not necessarily a good month for this channel, regrettably, but a good month in my other business ventures, aka the stock market. And once more, we are able to keep the wolves from the door for another month. What's that about? At this point, regrettably, this channel is more of a vanity project than a viable business venture. Views, subs, and likes and comments have been circling the drain. What's that about? But, you know, you'll never accuse me of not being vain. I am so vain. I probably think this song is about me. So yeah, we're going to keep going, of course. Of course we're going to keep going, you know. It's like, but there are some changes to the channel in the sense of, you know, the live streams are going to be more movie focused. The Wednesday live stream did amazingly well talking about Clint Eastwood and the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's going to become the most watched live stream on the channel in the history of Superantonio and Red Dead Redemption 2. But I do not know. It's not because it's Wednesday. Wednesday is the weakest day for live streams for me. So I don't know if it's Clint Eastwood or if it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that this is a Western channel, and everyone knows that Western. Odog is here. Greetings, Odog. How are you, friend? I hope you're feeling better. Look at all those emoticons Odog has. He's got a gator and a turtle and a snake for Miko. He's caught them all. So next week, we are going to try on Wednesdays. We're going to do a fistful of dollars. And Marston Mondays, regrettably, is going for a while. We're going to go on hiatus. Probably going to take Monday off, unless I do a movie Monday. And then on Saturdays, I like the alliteration of sci-fi Saturdays. We're kind of focus on science fiction and fantasy movies, which are, you know, some of my favorite. But this Saturday, we're going to be talking about the Joker. Batzaro says, how are you feeling, Odog? And Odog says, sup, Super Antonio. I'm doing quite well, Odog. We'll, of course, keep making videos as they arise. You know, if something interesting happens, I'll make a video on it or a short. but I'm not going to pursue it as aggressively as I was before. Rage says, "Hi, Super Antonio. I'm currently playing Red Dead 2 online because I was struggling with Gambler 3." And Odog says, "You could always do your bad playthrough on Monday." Yeah, we could. We still have that. We still have that save file. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this Mean Mondays, Bazzaro says. And Micah says, "Hello, I just recently came back from my trip to California. California dreamin' on such a winter's day." The Real Reaper says, "Hello, what's poppin'? Greetings, Real Reaper." And don't fear the Reaper. I'm in a musical mood tonight. And David says hi to Micah and reap. You reap what you sow. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this game with Arthur. Frodo says, "Any chance for a viewer fashion show for our Arthur and John? Could be fun." Yes, there is a chance, but regrettably, they just the last horse show didn't even break 1,000 views. I don't like talking about just the mechanics of running a YouTube channel. But like and 1,000 views is like $1. It's nothing. It's pennies, and so I'll be happy to do it at 20K. But right now, it's just not worth my time. The Real Reaper says, has some ghost emoticons. He says, "I do reap. I am the Reaper." And Jesse Collins says, "I love your dog," right next to you. Yes, we are joined once more by our channel co-host, Sadie, the channel dog. Say hello to Jesse and Miko and Odog and everyone here. 17 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friends. So, I love, and Chrissy is here. Chrissy V says, "Hi." Hi, Chrissy. Greetings. And has a heart emoticon for David. And David has a heart emoticon for Chrissy. Get the feeling that you two know each other. What's that about? I'm glad that my mods fraternize with each other. We don't have a hard and fast rule amongst fraternization in the chat. Odog wants Mean Mondays. Just kind of rush through it because you don't enjoy. I don't know. I'll think about it, Odog. For you, I will think about it. But right now, I'm just going to do live streams, talk about movies. Free Roam Fridays. This is going to be a long Free Roam Fridays, so I hope you brought snacks. David says, "We've met." Yes, I get the impression, David. I do enjoy the live streams. They're a lot of fun. And I'll make videos as they come up, as the occasion presents itself. But I'm not going to be as aggressively pushing videos and shorts out as I was before. Because it's just not working. So until I think of something better, until I find a game that I like more than this, that's new. I love The Witcher 3, but it wasn't pulling enough views. So that's the state of the channel right now, regrettably. I'm happy to continue going, but it's not looking good as a viable business venture. We were making more money and having more views at 10K. At the road to 5 to 10K, we were at the top of the world. Odog says, "Your crowd may shrink anyway. School coming in a week." Yeah, that's one of the problems is, we don't appeal to the younger audience. Jesse says, "I have a 15-story playthrough from November 2018. This game has a literal living and breathing soul." I agree, Jesse. I wish there were more people like you. liking and subscribing the videos. But like I said in earlier in earlier live streams, this style, my style, the Super Antonio style, I'm Super Antonio. Just like walking you through the game and talking about it, that worked to get us to, basically 18K, 17.78K. But we're going to have to do something different to get us to 25K, to get us to 50K. And I'm not quite sure what that is. But I do enjoy talking about movies. Max Scholler says, I wish they would bring out a next-gen console version of this game with upped graphics, higher NPC population in the open world, and 60 to 120 FPS if possible. That sounds like an optimal situation for all of us. Darius Harden says, play Assassin's Creed, any, to be honest. Well, we did play AC Valhalla on the second channel. And the Real Reaper says, is Red Dead Redemption 2 your favorite game? Yes, it is. It's pretty much the only game I ever want to play. I mean, there are games I enjoy. Witcher 3, the Resident Evil series, immediately come to mind. Even AC Valhalla, but at some point, playing all those games, I returned to this game. I miss Arthur. I miss my horses. I miss Horseshoe Overlook. Chrissy says hi to Darius. And Batzara says, I will say I found and joined your channel when you did a viewer horse show. You featured my Angraboda Gold Turkoman. Odog says there's a new Star Wars game coming. I'm looking it up right now. Star Wars Jedi, no, that can't be. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is 2023. Odog says Open World Galaxy, I think. Batzara says there's a ton of people who play just for the horses. Jesse says, I remember when you started. I can hear the frustration in your voice these days from when it started. I switched to Starfield and now Cyberpunk and the goofy pirate game. And Riff Magos has just joined at the Valentine level. I really appreciate you, friend. That's very encouraging. Thank you, Riff. Shout out to new channel member Riff Magos. Look for your name in the viewer credits at the end of basically every video, including the live streams. I think even this live stream. But regrettably, you won't be on this live stream, but you'll be on the next one, Riff. I promise you. Welcome, Riff, to Team Valentine. Max says, what are your thoughts on Red Dead 3? I'm hoping it'll be about Jack transitioning from the death of his father to the civilized world, or the meeting of Dutch and Hosea and their shenanigans across the West. I would go with your latter, young Dutch and Hosea, young Miss Grimshaw, a 12-year-old Arthur. Yeah, that would be around 1880, which is like the golden age of the West, Wild West. Jesse says Star Wars is Ubisoft, probably a poop emoticon. You may be right, Jesse. And David welcomes Riff. Riff says, I love your videos. Keep up the great work. That's very encouraging. Thank you, Riff. After I basically said I wasn't going to make any more videos and we were just going to focus on live streams. But, I am working on, this is the raw footage for my Mysteries of Lake Owanjilla video. Odog says, Jesse, any Star Wars I can get on a video game, I will take. Odog is a Jedi. A Jedi of the First Order. Perhaps a fallen Jedi. Riff says a Hosea-focused Red Dead 3 would be great. Yeah, that'd be cool if you played as a young Hosea. Or even a young Dutch. I would vote for Dutch because Dutch is integral to Red Dead 1. It's all about finding Dutch. You have to find Javier, you have to find Bill. You're searching for Dutch. And Dutch dies in Red Dead 1. Spoiler alert. And but basically and then you meet Dutch in his prime in this game. And so the third game, it would be fascinating if you play for Dutch. The Real Reaper asks, who's your favorite Jedi, Super Antonio? That's a great question. I have no idea. Qui-Gon, of course. Obi-Wan. Both versions. I watched the Clone Wars with my nephew. We used to watch the Clone Wars every Saturday and play Legos and then Minecraft. I would have to think about that. Young Ahsoka. I really liked her dual wielding. She'd hold them both. Odak says, definitely not a Jedi, just a Force user. Force sensitive. And Frodo says, Dutch is the Anakin Skywalker of Red Dead. LOL. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, Frodo. I mean, if you make him the focus of Red Dead 1, it just basically becomes the story of Anakin. Jesse says, oh dog, I agree with you. And Bazzaro says, okay, you just sold me on playing as Dutch. Max says, honestly, a game where you can switch between Arthur, Dutch, and Hosea, or even young John would be cool. First playthrough, I thought we could switch to Lenny during the train robbery. I just assumed we were going to be able to do that because of another game. Riff says, although you better believe a young Miss Grimshaw would be a Hellcat. Yeah, there's a picture of her, on the medicine wagon. She sleeps. I mention this all the time. She sleeps with Herr Strauss and Mr. Pearson. What's that about? And, well done, Herr Strauss and Mr. Pearson. I'm happy for you. David says, Chrissy can't find the join button. I'm not sure what's going on, Chrissy. For me, actually, I can't. For me, it's right next to the channel button. I guess. But, Chrissy, you don't have to join. I'm just happy that you're here, and I'm happy you're taking care of our David. Odog says LA Noir 2 is expected, and a new bully. Maybe we'll just be a Rockstar channel. I am a failed Rockstar after all. Real Reaper says, mine is Count Dooku prior to turning into a Sith. Or Yoda. Yoda shows the lesson that skill is more important than strength. That first fight scene where he just kind of holds his arm out. Here, I'll put it in the lightsaber just kind of flips into it, and then he spins around like the Tasmanian devil. Max says, do you think you'll start GTA 6 on the channel when it comes out, or is it too R-rated for your channel? I don't think I'm going to be playing GTA 6. And I do think, yeah, it's a little bit R-rated. But I'm not convinced it's going to live up to its hype. I'm happy to be proven wrong, of course. Chrissy says, David tried to help, and he couldn't find it. Are you on your phone or your browser? Are you logged in? No, yeah, you have to be logged in as Chrissy V, or you couldn't be commenting. Riff says hello to Miko, And A to the B to the Z to AK Donut Lord. Now I want donuts. I've been wanting donuts for a while, though. Says, if Arthur kills Calloway, Flacco, and Emmett, Father Arthur dies, that means the gunslingers have been dead for years. That's very true. Odog says, praying they focus on something besides GTA 6. GTA is Take-Two's Interactive's money child. That's very true, Odog. Jesse says, I believe Hosea's story will be next. They already created such a wholesome character in him. They already have their audience. You would think so, Jesse, but Rockstar's really not... You know, Rockstar's abandoned this game, and they're not listening to the fans. They are listening to a different audience that doesn't technically exist outside of Twitter. Chrissy says, yes, phone on my app. Okay, I'm checking my phone. Maybe you have to be on a desktop or a laptop to do it. Yeah, try switching to a laptop. And Riff says, I just started a brand new Red Dead Online character. I must be a glutton for grief or punishment. Riff, how do you pronounce your last name? Can you spell it out phonetically for me? Is it Magos or Magooz or Magos? Jesse says, Odog, I was joking, but wow, I didn't know LA Noire 2 was a thing. I was checking on Serena's channel to see if she'd been active, and regrettably she has not. But one of her most popular videos is driving in LA Noire, and I'm very pleased that that she did that. Odog says, Jesse, I've seen a couple articles, even sent one to Super Antonio on LA Noire. I didn't get that one, Odog. I'm going to look that up right now. LA Noire 2. Oh, Rockstar Games confirms LA Noire is making its long-awaited return. It's from April. Popular crime thriller from Rockstar Games, LA Noire is making a return. However, it's perhaps not quite the return we had hoped for. Okay, I'll look into that, Odog. We shall return to it. Max says, if GTA 6 doesn't live up to the hype, I might have to jump off Mount Everest. We've waited 11 years. It took 9 years to make Red Dead Redemption 2. To the quality should hopefully be perfect. You would think so, Max, but I have misgivings. Just think of any modern video game that has come out and compare it to games of the past. You know, I just don't think the dev talent is there anymore. I think everybody got laid off or fired during COVID, and they've got a new batch of younger developers, cheaper developers and writers who are more focused on historical injustices than telling an actual compelling story. We have to dance around. I can't say exactly what I think because you're only allowed to have one opinion on YouTube. But yeah, I just think that the current state of the world that we're in, the polarization of the world will what Elon Musk calls infect this version of GTA 6. David says Serena might be going home this week. Fingers crossed. Everyone say a little prayer for Serena, depending on what god you pray to, be it Odin or Zeus. Or I don't know what the Klingons pray for. But yeah, give a little prayer for or kind thoughts to Serena so that she can come home. Magos. Riff Magos. Thank you, Riff. I'll try to remember that. Jesse says, I have a golden retriever named Steppenwolf. You guys should see him lunge at the TV when I'm playing. Steppenwolf. Odak says, Max, it's going to be okay. And Donut Lord says, do you think the legendary animals were on one of a kind, like the last ever one, or do you think there's more out there? Regrettably, they are one of the kind. You know, it's like, I don't like hunting the white buffalo up north just because he'll never appear again. And that's got to be a sin. Odak says, I wouldn't care if Red Dead 3 or 4 would take us back to Mexico for the Civil War. Just want another Red Dead Redemption. And Jesse says, Super Antonio, how about Red Dead Online Roleplay? That would be so much fun. We did that a little bit when the channel was in its infancy. But it never really went anywhere. Jesse continues and says, I played L.A. Noire for 2 hours and put it down. The problem with L.A. Noire is the cutscenes are copyrighted, and you can't record them. Anytime you see an L.A. Noire playthrough, you know, it's done off capture cards. And they get demonetized. Max says, we need GTA 6 to have playability after the story. That's what makes games popular after the few years. Because you don't get bored after 5 minutes after the story and collectible completion. I think L.A. Noire, like this game, will just be a funnel to go online. It will just be a giant catalog to go online. I have an Amazon Fire TV. It's 55 inches. Because I got it because it was super cheap. And I'd never had a TV that big. And it's HD, and I love having it. But it is a giant catalog for Amazon. You know, I mean, especially if you have Amazon Prime on it, as I do, you know. But that's the reason why it's so cheap. And I think they're going to do something. I know they're going to do something similar with GTA 6. And Mama One and Papa One are here. Greetings, Papa One and Mama One. Donut Lord says, "Do you think High Honor Arthur went to heaven, or do you think he went to hell?" I absolutely believe he went to heaven. Of course, saw his last sunrise, unless he dies in fire at the. Papa One says, "Hey family," and Mama One says, "Hey guys, greetings, Mama One. What's for dinner?" David also, "What's for dinner?" David says, "There he is, and there she is." Miko says, "Hello, Mama One and Papa One." Papa One says, "Hey David and Miko." Bazzaro says hello to Mama and Papa One. Mama One says, "Hey Miko," and "Hey David." Jesse asks, who else sells their best horse before the mission it gets shot, just so you can avoid that cutscene? Yeah, I always start and end that with Arthur's first horse, with Arthur's O'Driscoll horse from Sadie's barn. Jesse says a $300 TV. Jesse, it was a $150 TV. It was an Amazon return for a 55-incher. The biggest TV I've ever had. And it's, you know, I've had it for like a year and a half. It's fine. But you know, it's a giant portal for Amazon. And they're tracking my habits. I get to see a lot of dog commercials. You know, they know I have a dog. What's that about? David says fish and rice. I love fish and I love rice. The Real Reaper says, I'm going to sleep. I'm getting ready for a trip tomorrow, so I'll see you all later. Until next time, partners. Appreciate you being here, Real Reaper. Thank you, friend. Max says, quick tip for your TV. If you're gaming, turn your sharpness on the TV to 0. The picture looks so much better. That's interesting, Max. I have a dedicated monitor for both my PS4s. I don't game on TVs. I just watch TV. I have my parents' TV in the living room and the giant Amazon Fire TV in the bedroom. And I don't have a video game player set up on that. I was thinking of setting up a DVD or Blu-ray player, or DVD and Blu-ray player. Chrissy says, I am cooking now. Levi says, Levi the Gamer, greetings Levi, says, Super Antonio, I'm thinking about getting a PC to mod Red Dead 2. I want to get YM's DLC. It puts online clothes in store and some more colors for some story clothes. And that's an idea. Also, you could get all the horses. Mama One has a full update. Arthur, the full update. He is getting stronger and stronger. We are giving him bottles, and we are trying to locate a replacement mom. And the Real Reaper says good night to Miko. Chrissy says hello to Mama One and Papa One, and so does O-Dog. And Chrissy continues, and veggies, fish and rice and veggies. It's very heart-friendly, David. But Zara says, I was just about to ask about him, Mama. Great to hear. Donut Lord says, do you think the Tumbleweed Stable gang member horses are the same ones? And also, how do you think they got that? They are not the same ones. And they got there in the sense that it's your reward for getting it, for making it to the end of the game and making it all the way to Tumbleweed. Frodo says, I recently got a 55-inch 4K TV at an estate sale for $300. Scored big on that one last month. I love my 4K high-def TV. UHD, ultra high def. Mostly I use it for streaming. I only have, I think, I have 2 HD Blu-rays. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Alien, the first Alien, which we'll discuss in one of the Sci-Fi Saturdays. Oh, although this Saturday we're going to discuss The Joker. Mama One says, we had a fresh fried shrimp, homemade fries, and I also made homemade crawdads. We had a seafood feast. I put potatoes and corn in with the crawdads. Farm dogs love crawdads. Yeah, but who was the first person to eat a crawdad? Or a lobster? Or a shrimp, for that matter. They're basically the scary bugs of the sea. I mean, I'm not saying they don't taste delicious. I love shrimp. Max says, it's been a good stream, Antonio. Goodbye from the UK. I'll watch the next vid. Thanks for the horse guides over the years. Well, we will do a horse show at 20K, Max. Of course, I love you guys. How could I not? Appreciate you. Shout out to the UK. You take care, friend. Mama One says, hey, Chrissy, and hey, O-Dog. And so does Papa One. Jesse says, I'm running a G4 65 LG. I had to have taxied to my house because I was afraid to break it. Oh, okay. I had to have taxied to my house because I was afraid to break it. I'm running an NVIDIA graphics card and an Xbox X. Super overkill and addictive. Yeah, HD is like crack for the eyes. It's, it's once you see it, there's no going back. But it's interesting the things you can you notice with an HD TV, in makeup, especially. Like I was rewatching The Matrix, and Keanu's like 5 o'clock shadow that's painted on or airbrushed on. It's just, and it's really obvious in HD. Papa one says, my friend Randy had an offer to buy Arthur already. A guy I'm making saddles for. He offered $30,000. Wow. And that's lowballing because of his situation with the mama horse. Bazzaro says, I still have plasma TV, 55 inches. Got it in '09. It's getting blurry. Well, the good news, Bazzaro, is TVs have gotten cheaper and cheaper. Jesse has to run. I'll be back again. And Miko says goodbye to Jesse. Levi says, and I can get Boadicea, the liver chestnut Hungarian half-bred. Yeah, that's the only reason I got a PC. I have a PC laptop just so I could pull out that horse. And Papa One says, keep in mind, the previous foals Arthur moms had sold for high dollars. The cheapest foal she had was $100,000. She was a very high-ranked show horse. He was trying to get a deal. Bazzara says, HD TVs are crazy looking to me when I'm at other folks' houses. And Odog says, later on, Jesse. Yeah, they're fun to have. Another thing I noticed, I was watching the trailer for Mission Impossible: A Dead Reckoning, which I'm going to watch immediately after this stream. I've been saving it for Friday. So me and the dog are going to watch Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. But what I noticed is that they're doing some kind of digital makeup on Tom Cruise's face. They're just kind of smoothing it out. Like de-aging him a little bit. It reminded me a little bit of what they used to do to Patrick Swayze, Patrick Stewart as Professor X when they would do flashback scenes or, in some of the X-Men movies. So they're just kind of smoothing it out and just toning him up a little bit. But, he's still running and jumping and like riding his motorcycle off cliffs. He's still doing all that, at 61, 62. It's amazing. But, yeah. They're trying to pretend that Ethan Hunt is like maybe, I'd say 45. And I would say that he looks like a youthful 55. But again, he's in tremendous physical shape. He's, like there are men half his age that can't do what he can do. So what's that about? Odak says later on to Jesse, and Papa One says, pedigree Arabians like we bred were sold for a lot. Arabians, thoroughbreds, Clydesdales, and Friesians are the best moneymakers. We dealt with everything, but only seriously bred the above horses. Levi says, in YM's DLC, you can get Sheriff Freeman's hat. Interesting. Frodo says, random thought, agree or disagree. The Chapter 2 missions Americans at Rest is at its best if you run through the mission at night. I just prefer the aesthetic in the bar and the fight outside with Tommy. I would agree. Regardless of when you go at day or night, the sky will darken once he gets thrown out the window, once he gets defenestrated. And, so it'll go gray and it'll start raining. But yeah, I think it works better at night. It just makes more sense. Odog says, anyone gonna watch Deadpool and Wolverine? Yeah, at some point. Furrow says, Odog, no spoilers, please. I'm seeing it with the wife on Monday. And Batzaro's going Monday or Tuesday, waiting to get paid. And Odog says, Frodo, I haven't seen it. Mama One says, who thinks Papa One should buy Arthur for me as an early birthday present? I agree, Mama One. I wholeheartedly recommend and endorse that wonderful idea. Faces and trees. Okay, this guy looks like a Viking. Yeah, these are the Viking explorers. Now we have to page back. This is the raw footage. Found these faces carved into the trees. Of all the mysteries of Lake Owanjilla, this is one of my favorites. Because there's really no explanation other than they were early explorers. 15 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friends. Appreciate you being here. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. Okay, this guy looks like a Viking. No, actually, this one looks like their Indian guide, their Native American guide. Not allowed to say Indian anymore. Mama One, we have not done Francis yet. Francis is coming. See, and he looks like a Viking. And then the last one looks like a pagan idol, a dark idol. Kind of has a tiki vibe to me. Papa One says, your phone's blowing up. Does that mean super? Regrettably, Papa One, it does not. It's just business. It has to do with, I have a rental property. And it takes up a lot of my time. Speaking of lady friends, though, I had an interesting encounter. Well, no, was it interesting? It was, yeah, I guess it was kind of, but I was walking the dog, okay, as I do in the afternoon, and come back. And so every now and then, she'll, I used to carry treats in my back pocket to train her, because I didn't want to run in traffic. I didn't, I wanted to make sure that her recall commands were like perfect and on point. So, we used treats for that and, like traffic and everything. But every now and then, it's like, she'll just like stop the walk and look up to me and smile. And usually it means she wants a treat. And so if I have a treat on me, I'll give it to her, it's like, but, I'm happy to. But, it's just kind of fun. It's like she's having fun. She's walking around, and then she remembers that I might have treats. So she stops, and just asks me very politely, even though she didn't do anything to earn a treat. And if I have one, I'll give it to her. So anyways, we were walking, and I'm always scanning, like, as we walk, I'm always scanning ahead of us and behind us, hour 12 and hour 6. Papa One, to just to make sure that there aren't any dogs coming up on us, or or any hazards that we got to deal with. And usually, Sadie's really good at watching our 6. But she, like, we're walking around and she pauses and looks up at me, like, and I didn't have any treats on me, and she gave me that treat look. She just kind of paused and smiled. And I went, what? And I and I said, I'm sorry, I don't have any treats. And then she like turned around, and so watch our 6. So so I turned around, and this woman was like right up on us, and she was a woman. She was not a girl, she was like well dressed, works in an office, walking home, in her, I would say in her 40s. She was a lady, okay? And she and she just kind of like gave me a nervous smile, a nervous smile, and said, "You have such a beautiful dog." And that she, and and I've had this conversation so many times. I know exactly what to say. I know where it's going to go, and so I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for saying that." And she just ran away, like a shy teen girl. And I was like, "Well, okay, we would be happy to talk, and you can pet her. She's friendly, but she just kind of rushed away. She lost her nerve. What you wouldn't expect in an older lady, who's been around. And I remember one time, it's like, I mentioned teen girl because one time this girl roller skated by us really fast. And she was like, "I like your dog," and ran away, rolled away, and I thought that was cute too. But, she looked like she was 15 or 16. Anyways, that's what happened. This is the only lady in my life of substance or that I pay attention to. And fortunately, she does not have a phone.
Yeah, exactly. Little rock carvings. What do you want to do with it? Well, it's sort of very complicated, and you'll think I'm jazzed.
Levi the Gamer says, "When I see those trees, I think of, I bet tiki gods." And Odog says, "Superantonio, rent it to me." Mom went to Sadie's so content snacking. She's in her own world. It's adorable. Yeah, I tried to train her to like stay up here and monitor the chat. And, technically she's a mod, but I would have to make her a YouTube account. There's Francis.
I'm gonna have a lie down. I don't feel very well, and neither would you. But hey, what harm could it do?
David, are you still here? I started watching a show called Upload. And Upload is basically, it's like a combination of The Good Place and Westworld. It's a comedy though. It's by the guy who did The Office and Parks and Rec. It is not as funny as The Office and Parks and Rec. And here's all the rock carvings and locations. I made a short out of this. But basically, it's set in the future where you can upload your consciousness into a server after you die. You get your head scanned or your brain scanned. Basically like Elon wants to do, and you upload your consciousness to if you can afford it, this luxury resort where there are millions of microtransactions. Glynis Coleman, channel member Glynis Coleman is here. Greetings, Glynis. Glynis says hello, everyone. And David, so do you know that show, Upload? It's on Amazon. It's on Amazonia Prima. Batzaro says, And David says, Glenn. Batzaro says, what's it on? It's on Amazon Prime. And it's like living in a video game, in a hotel. It's like, and there's one, they've got like the concierge and the bellboys and all the waiters are like the same actor with like different personalities, and he's like the NPC. Yeah, it's interesting. But Zaro says, howdy, Glenn. But it's not, of course, as dark as Westworld, and it is not as funny as The Good Place, even though it's by the guy who did Parks and Rec, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time, and The Office. But it's got a cute little love story, and it's science fiction. Science fiction, and I love science fiction. The tech, they've got like these phone screens that like project on between your thumb and forefinger, so you just kind of hold your hand out like that, and you can talk to them or turn it around and they can see things. And then because they're digital consciousness, you can talk to live people and continue relationships with your family and your friends or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Glynis asks, how is everyone doing? I'm doing quite well, Glynis. Serena, regrettably, is not, but she should be coming home this week. Fingers are crossed. Levi says, one of my friends made a joke. It's something like, when you play Red Dead for the first time, you're like Sean. Your mind is blown. I did not know where that joke was going, Levi, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone did as well. Chrissy says hi to Glynis, and Papa One says, oh, Super Antonio, I forgot to tell you, a friend of mine who breeds horses, he lives in Tennessee. He recently brought a couple horses, including a Missouri Foxtrotter. But he brought an Akai teak. I've heard about those Akai teaks, which is the modern Turkoman. It's direct descendant of Turkomans. Turkomans are extinct. I'll send a picture when I can. He has a golden Akai teak. That sounds beautiful. Glynis says hello to Chrissy, and Miko says hello, Glynis. 15 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friend. Appreciate you being here. And Glynis says, I thought you couldn't get Akai teaks over here.
I'm a little confused.
Yes, I think you are.
And Miko says, too soon, 4 years. LOL. Rest in peace, Sean.
That's not important. Excuse me.
On Sunday, Sinister Sundays, we will be discussing Betty and Barney Hill. UFO abduction story. It's fascinating. We get the commemorative watch, the old brass compass. It's not Mr. Pearson's compass. And Odok says, LOL, Levi. Poor Sean. Yeah, that was a shock. More of a shock than Hosea. Papa One says, that horse is a beauty. It looks just like the Red Dead Redemption 2 horse. It is expensive. You can get them, Glynis. They are very, very expensive. Or you could rescue one. And Batzaro wants to know where it came from. And Papa One says, it came from Saudi Arabia, Batzaro. I was friends with a FedEx delivery guy once, and I asked him, what's the weirdest thing that has ever been FedExed? And he said a racehorse from Saudi Arabia. It was a 6-figure overnight delivery. But, you think of those guys, you'd think that they would have their own private horse transport jet to take that horse wherever they needed to go. Glennis says, they are beautiful. I saw one at a horse show. They are extremely valuable. Glennis, you are extremely valuable. And here comes the Red Arabian. Speaking of extremely valuable. Papa One says, we were considered one of the finest breeders of Arabians in the business. Our horses even sold to some high-class Saudi Arabians. We sold Arabians to sheiks periodically. My dad was good friends. Levi says, I went to Limpany and saw Micah and his family in the abandoned bar. And Glennis says, hey to Papa and Mama One. Mama One says, hey Glennis, and Batzara says, the Turkoman is my favorite horse in the game, but I've always had quarter horses. I don't like that neck flop they do when they're stressed. First time I saw the Golden Turk do that, it completely freaked me out. I thought I'd broken that horse. Thought it was glitching.
Easy, girl.
Sadie moved to the couch. She has a new antler that I just got for her. And so she's having a good time chewing on that.
You're okay.
Mama One, how's your video coming? I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to your channel, so I will know when it comes up.
Nice and easy.
Papa One continues with a Saudi Arabian businessman. Or you could, let's see. My dad was good friends with a Saudi Arabian businessman, and he would buy several horses every year. He liked my dad because despite the businessman wearing a suit, my dad took him riding to break horses and gave him booze, which you could not get in Saudi Arabia. What's that about?
Okay, now. Easy. Go easy.
Or maybe you could. I'm sure they have their own private clubs and just where you can, where the elites are allowed. That was the fastest break of an Arabian. I used to be good at this game. I'm still good at this game. Glennis says the neck flop drives me crazy. The Mustangs do it as well. Not as bad as the Turkomans though. Haven't really noticed it on the Mustangs. It's just so extreme with the Turks. Mama One says it's coming along. I put it on the back burner. Oh yeah, due to Arthur requiring a lot of time. That makes perfect sense, Mama One. Don't worry. No pressure from me. Then we got a little bit of a cougar montage. I mean, I can't talk about Lake Owanjilla without talking about cougars. Bazzaro says that one did seem to break faster than the others. Yeah. What's that about? And Bazzaro likes the neck shake. Of course you do, Bazzaro. That's because you're from Bizarro World. And that friendly cougar just walked into the bullet. And no worries, that 3-star cougar is only sleeping. And what happened to our horse? Frodo says lowest stats, fastest break, maybe. Yeah, I love Bizarro Superman and that Bizarro world. Jack Kirby, I don't know if you know who that is. He's my favorite comic book artist. I love his and I love that time period, Golden Age. Or maybe he was Silver Age. I think he was Silver. I could never, I could never afford any of those comics, and while I am a collector, I never got into collecting comics, but I would get the compendiums. Levi says, if I get a PC, I'm using it only for free roaming as Arthur. My PlayStation will be used for story. That sounds like a plan. I mostly just free roam. Papa One says, so we got contacts all over when it comes to horses. We introduced other friends to him. My dad and him became great friends. I never will forget, for Dad's 80th birthday, he gave Dad a to be continued.
Nothing quite like wearing your best day's work.
As long as we're here, let's get a cougar cutaway coat. A gold Rolex day date. That's worth around 20K now. Do you still have it? Dad was honored with it, and he never wore it again after finding out it was cost around $25,000. Yeah, they're gorgeous watches. I have my father's date just. I wear it sometimes. I'm wearing my Seiko right now. I have a lot of watches. I like watches. Bazzaro says, I love breaking horses until I had disc fuses, so I get my thrill in Red Dead and the newer Zeldas. And don't blame him, Papa. That's tempting robbery no matter who you are. Yeah, it's a dilemma. Wearing that, wearing a hunk of that hunk of change on. It's like you have to wear it and be subtle about it, not show it off. Not hello, not it's like, oh, what time is it? Papa wants the same here about Zara. I can't do it anymore. I've had 5 back surgeries and I've had a broken neck. After the 5th surgery, I almost died and can't walk anymore. I still pull myself on a horse. But Zara says, I wear Invictas. I know Invictas. They're really hit and miss for me. I mean, some of them are like really cool and some of them are like the crassiest, most ostentatious watches I've ever seen. But there are collectors of Invictus. I think they're very reasonably priced and they're very stylish. Odog says, I've only got 4, 3 that work watches. Frodo says, I will stick with my Seiko chronograph. I've got 2 of those, Seiko. Frodo, I've got the silver Flight Master. And then I got the Goldie. I got the gold first. Fun fact, when I started this channel, I actually thought about starting a watch channel. Ever since reading Robert Ludlum's Bourne books and how important that watch was to the character, I've been a fan of Seiko. Finally got one on my 30th birthday. I love Seikos. The Seiko SKX. My father gave me that for in college. I still have it. And it's probably my favorite watch, or it is definitely my daily driver. Then I got this Seiko Gold. It's a Seiko 5, but it's gold diver watch. And I bought that specifically for my father's funeral. So I call it the funeral watch. And I wear it, I wear it every now and then. But, it's a big chunk of gold. And it is not gold. It's a Seiko 5. Orak says a Casio, a Timex, a Samsung Galaxy, and a Fitbit Versa 3. Yeah, I don't like smartwatches. But they do a lot of cool things. Papa one says, yes, I still have it. It's in his old room. He still has his and Mom's room pretty much the same. We have 5 bedrooms, so we have plenty of room. I got most of Dad's gear and some of his clothes and boots. But Zaro says, I have a friend with cerebral palsy who rides in a special saddle, Papa One. He's a better rider than me. And Micah says, how often do you wear your watches? Every day. And I always wear them. I always take them off when I get home, but I put them on for the stream. I feel more... I mean, it's the only piece of jewelry I wear, and I feel more complete with a watch. Like, even if I'm going downstairs to the laundry room, I'll put a watch on. If I leave the house, I'm wearing a watch. And Sadie knows that, she knows about watches. She knows that it's code that I'm going out. She knows if I'm grabbing a watch that she needs to get excited because it means we're probably going out. Frodo says it was a shame that Tag Heuer made a deal to design a watch for the Damon Bourne films. I felt it was like betrayal to the books. Oh yeah, I suppose so. But they had to update it, and they probably bid on it. But like Arnold wore a Seiko in I think in Commando. There's a very famous, and then Sigourney Weaver wore a very famous Seiko. There's a really good watch channel called Urban Gentry. Do you know about that channel, Zaro? Papa One says, yeah, the VA has said they would pay for me to get a handicap saddle. I just never did it. As long as I can get up there on my own, I'll do it. I'm stubborn. I can understand that, Papa One. Papa One says, my son has an expensive watch. An ex-girlfriend got it for him. It's a lighter watch, so he can even light his cigars up and tell time. And Betzaro says, my dog does the same thing. Oh, I've got a really funny, dog story. Funny, and also this happened yesterday on Thursday. Okay, how am I going to say this? But I just remembered because I had to go to the laundry room. I was washing some jeans. So there is a lesbian couple that has a pit bull. Okay, and I see them we have never intersected. We have never crossed paths, me and Sadie, because they're just not on our schedule, but I see them from the balcony every now and then, like I always make a note of like dog walkers if I'm seeing them. So, and then they are, and I live in the city, live in downtown Saint Denis, and they are not what you would like. They're not glamorous lesbians, what they used to call lipstick lesbians. They're kind of prison lesbians. I don't know, I don't know how to put it delicately. You used to be able to say bull dyke. I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore, but they're just like, they're very scary ladies. Okay, and usually when you see a lesbian couple like that, one of them is usually slightly cuter than the other, maybe skinnier, backwards baseball cap, baggy jeans, it's usually in that kind of relationship, you can definitely tell which one's wearing the pants in that family, in that relationship. But these are two scary looking lesbian ladies. And, and with a pit bull. And so, okay, we've never encountered them. They're always on a different schedule than me, and they look happy. And I'm judging a book by its cover. I'm sure they're fine, wonderful people. And and how dare me be so judgmental? Shame on me. But yeah, I'm a little bit afraid of them. And anyways, I was coming back up from the laundry room on. Oh no, this happened today. I was coming up today, with a handful of jeans, because I'll wash them, but I won't dry them. I'll just air dry them. They last longer that way. And I see them walking up to the door and they're like buzzing somebody, so they know someone in my building. And they didn't have the dog with them, but and I just ran away as fast as I could because they scare me a little. But I don't know. It was just funny. Micah says, the only watches I wear are Casios, probably because the watches I want are expensive. Casios are good watches. I used to wear, Iron Man is by Casio, isn't it? Papa One says, I kept a lot of my dad's things. I've given some away, but it is like selling him. My dad didn't get much junk. He was very practical. Guns, boots, watches, lighters, and ashtrays. And Papa One says, my son has my dad's tabletop lighters. He had one that's a permanent match, one that's an Old Crow bourbon bottle. Flame comes out the top, and a thoroughbred horse lighter where the fire comes out of his mouth. Betzaro says, those are neat, Papa. And this isn't really a Lake Owanjilla mystery, but it's kind of close. It's we're on the way. Levi says, "I'm leaving. See you all next time." Appreciate you, Levi. Thanks for being here. On Fridays, we free roam. And the map. And I've mentioned it before, but if you get drunk in this cave, you will respawn on the other side of the map. This is how I get to Guarma. Odog says, I have a Casio databank from 1988. Wish it worked. And Betzaro says, night, Levi. I have a G-Shock. I don't know if you know those. Those are cheap but very stylish. I have a white G-Shock. I just wanted a white watch. Betzaro says night to Levi, and Odog says later, Levi. Yeah, so David, that show is called Upload. If you like The Good Place, you'd probably like it. It is not as funny as The Good Place, but it's kind of funny. Frodo says, I cannot decide between two pairs of boots for Arthur on the new outfit. Care to pick between the black deluxe relentless or the brown plated ramblers? I would probably go with the black relentless, but I like the black boots. But Zara says my G-Shock quit working a few months ago. They're relatively cheap, and it might just need a new battery. You know how to replace batteries? It's pretty easy on a G-Shock. I mean, as long as you have a tiny Phillips head screwdriver. And don't lose the screws. Betzaro says, Ramblers for sure. Well, that's because Betzaro is a rambling man. Glennis says, my Arthur wears all black. He's the man in black.
Can you leave my cave, please? Go and find your own.
There's no way up there. Papa One says, what's your favorite loadout in Red Dead Redemption 2 Super Antonio? I use dual Schofields, Lancaster, or Evans repeater, pump shotgun, and bow and arrow. I can't stand the volcanic pistol or the double action. I love the sound of the double action. And I like Flacco's gun and then the sawed-off in the offhand, just because I like to load the sawed-off with incendiaries.
Okay, I'm not the devil, but I want
Those come in handy sometimes, incendiaries. Even though these days I use dynamite. I just enjoy it. Dynamite explosions are very cinematic. They make great videos. And then I like the Lancaster, good old Lanky, and the Springfield for hunting with a scope, and also the varmint rifle and the bow. But also with the bow, I have I usually have dynamite arrows, so you can have like a cowboy RPG. Again, for explosions, which just make for great videos. Everybody likes explosions. Betzaro says, tried 2 different batteries. Oh, that's too bad, Betzaro. And David, worn roper boots for all my outfits. Yeah, I use the worn roper boots. I just feel that they would be like, I just feel it suits Arthur. Though I do like the alligator boots from the legendary gator boots. Frodo says the aesthetic is a mix of brown and black with jeans and a white shirt and, of course, his gambler hat. So either could work. And Papa One says, to me, pistols feel out of place, even though they were available at the end of the Wild West. The Mauser C96 was actually relatively common from 1896 through to World War I. Papa One asks, do you like Schofields? They're accurate, and they got a decent reload rate. But, usually, in combat, I will just grab a Lancaster or repeater. I'd rather have a long gun in combat. So I hardly ever... So for me, I just like the look of Flacco's gun. I like ivory handles, ivory grips. So that's my main incentive. Papa Batsara says, love the Schofields. I'm biased because I own one, LOL. And Papa One says, I use whatever weapons needed to get the perfect pelt for hunting, but combat, I use the loadout listed above. And Miko likes to dress his Arthur in all blue. Glinda says, I like the sound of the Litchfield, but I like the sound of my Garasar Fear 105. Not sure what that is. And I'm still watching Van Helsing, but I'm losing interest in it. Basically because there's 5 seasons, but only 3 are available. What's that about? And then they did a gender swap on Dracula. She appears in, maybe it's Mrs. Dracula. She appears in chapter 4, but she will be played by Tricia Helfer, who was from Battlestar Galactica. She played number 6. She played a Cylon. And she was, of course, my favorite Cylon. So I would be happy to see her as Lady Dracula, but the season isn't available. Papa One says, I own one too, Batzaro. I got it for my birthday this year. It's brass with a 5.5-inch barrel. I love it. I shoot on my property all the time. David, if you're watching The Walking Dead, do you like the Colt Python? Rick's Colt Python? Frodo says, I'm about to test something. I'm going into the Hosea horse mission with $0 intentionally to see if the game forces me to sell the Raven Blackshire. I think they will, Frodo. Absolutely certain. Glinda says, look it up. It's an interesting weapon. And I do own a cattleman. I'm going to look it up right now. Gary, ooh, wow. It's a bullpup. That's beautiful. 12 gauge, 3 chamber, accepts 2 3/4 and 3-inch shot shells, 19.7 inches, steel barrel. Wow, that's crazy. You are ready for the zombie apocalypse with one of those things. It's only $500. It's a Florida-based international military arms manufacturer and supplier. That's crazy. It's beautiful. Now I want one. I like the pistol grip. David says, love it, the Colt Python. I saw this really cute video on Instagram about a Ukrainian girl field stripping an AK. She was really good at it. She looked like she was 15 years old. You gotta watch out for the Ukrainians. Papa One says the Colt single action is awesome. My dad carried one of those. It was that or a 1911 or a 4-inch Colt Python 357 Magnum. And Glennis says, don't forget the 25 round drum. I love the Colt 1911s. They served our country well. And they're a nice looking gun. I like the aesthetics of it. And you can go full auto on the Mauser in Red Dead 1. It's only available for John, but it's a lot of fun. We got about 20 minutes left. Told you we're going to go a little bit longer for this live stream. Papa One says, my dad actually bought one of the original Colt single actions from the 1880s. You could only load 5 due to the hammer sometimes catching and shooting your foot. Only in the 1930s did they fix that. And Glennis says, my husband is old school. He likes his Diablo AGC. Okay, I gotta look that up now. Diablo AGC. Oh, 12 gauge pistol. Wow, I had no idea they even make that. The Diablo 12 gauge double barrel pistol. Interesting. So it's kind of like a sawed off, but legal. It's a Derringer for 12 gauge. And that's crazy. I never even heard of these guns. Papa One says, that's why a lot of Wild West people preferred the Schofield, that and it was a faster reload, and you could load 6 and not shoot your own foot. A bullet for every finger. That's what the Native Americans used to say. And then I love how Colt is called the Great Equalizer. And then, a lot of the people who are against the Second Amendment, like a lot of the women don't understand the term Great Equalizer. That, that it levels the playing field between men and women if you carry. And they don't understand that at all. Bazzara says, I've gotten pretty quick at reloading mine. I've never been in it, but I love going to the Wild West shooting competitions. And Glennis says, you can get it shipped to your door. Yeah, their guns are tools. They're nothing to be afraid of. But, it's a cult. That side, speaking in code. And here's a Golden Turkman for you. And a Kyle Teak. And I do like the Colt Peacemaker. And Bazzara says everyone should have some gun training. Yeah, I agree. Especially women. It completely levels the playing field. You can take out a guy who weighs 200 pounds. Why even bother with self-defense? When I used to do martial arts, I used to do I used to practice kung fu, and I met a lot of law enforcement, you know, in my class, and I ended up dating an undercover narcotics officer for a while. And she was like, she was fearless, but only because she carried. You know, she understood completely. You know, she weighed less than 110 pounds. She was tiny. And, you know, she would play bath ladies and special medicine gum addicted. I don't know if you can say tweaker. Yeah, well, she played those types of characters, but she always carried. You know, she understood her size, and no matter how well she trained, you know, you can't defeat physics. Batzaros is not weapon training, gun training. Yeah, I think it's more practical. I think it's far more practical than martial arts or fighting skills. Mama once says, our son learned to shoot as soon as he could walk. And Glennis says, I grew up with guns, shot my first 12 gauge at 8. Knocked me off the dock. Yeah. And so I finally, I stopped. Yeah, I had to break it off with her just because I couldn't stand the stress of her job. You know, I couldn't care for someone who was doing something that dangerous every night. Didn't have it in me. Hartley D says, howdy. Greetings, Hartley. Appreciate you being here. Happy Friday. On Fridays, we free roam. Just kind of hanging out, talking about the Second Amendment and TV shows and dinner. Frodo says, just got into the stable. The game gave me $15 and I can keep the Shire. Interesting, Frodo. Papa One says, guns were a way of life for me. My dad taught me to shoot before I ever went to the military. My dad thought gun control advocates were idiots. He always said, if someone wants to take your guns, there is an agenda that won't work out well for you if you give up your gun. And Miko says, hey, Hartley. Well, it's it's built into our Constitution, and it's part of our heritage. You know, it's how we settled the West, how we expanded. Look how tiny that thing is, but look how beautiful the coat is. Micah says, have you shot guns before, Super Antonio? Yes, I have. I've shot shotguns. I've gone hunting. I've gone duck hunting. I've shot Glocks. What else have they? Sig Sauers.
Just getting this off you, girl.
Papa wants. I agree. Ironically, the people who want to take your guns away are always protected by men carrying guns. Yeah. That Secret Service director. So glad she stepped down. She really upset me. But they showed her walking into that Senate hearing, surrounded by like giant men, giant Secret Service agents with guns. As opposed to, the Secret Service detail that was protecting the former president, number 45. We're not allowed to say his name. The algorithm won't let you say his name. Yeah, I was so angry.
Let's go, girl.
And Papa One says, Arabians are Mama One's all-time favorite horse. They may be smaller in real life, but they can carry more weight than than a bigger horse. Unfortunately, too many people have overbred Arabians. Well, yeah, that's why I guess why they're so popular. And they're popular in this game, and I guarantee, you know, they're the number one horse in this channel. I mean, the number one searched horse. And Papa One continues, there too many people have overbred Arabians, causing them to have severe deformities, including trouble breathing because of their noses. Arabians are supposed to look like they do in Red Dead Redemption 2, but now many have a messed up nose. Like the French bulldogs, they squish the face so much that they have trouble breathing. It's kind of sad. Sadie has a French bulldog friend on our walk, and they're, for some reason, because I think they're a very feminine dog, but they are my nephew's favorite dog. What's that about? Where are you? Sadie's at the balcony. Come on back. Let's call Sadie back with some potent canine bait. Papa One says, we have always carefully bred our Arabians. One reason why we sold them for so much money. We never had birth defects or any Arabian we bred and raised. On any Arabian we bred and raised. We, at one time, had one of the best pedigrees. I've told you before, don't scratch while we're live. People think you have fleas and I don't take care of you. She doesn't have fleas. She just likes scratching. And Miko says, yeah, those brachycephalic breeds have some issues. Yeah, it's very sad. You can, you know, even the one that we see, you know, he's having trouble breathing. When he's like, he's always huffing and puffing. And back to the stables we go. Say, stay. Got these banana chips for her. Human grade. They're actually human treats. Human treats are cheaper than dog treats. What's that about? So I pretty much just give her human treats now. She loves the banana chips. She likes graham crackers and animal crackers and crackers. Frodo says, also on this mission, I just learned that the dialogue about Sean that you can ask to talk to Hosea about is different if you talk to Dutch and Trelawney at the end of Americans at Rest. Oh, that's interesting, Frodo. That is worth exploring. That is worth a video. I'm writing this down. Sean dialogue.
Let's go, girl.
No Americans at Rest. Yeah, we got to do that because we got a new channel member now. So we got to make a video just so they feel included. Papa One says, we at one time were considered in the top 10 Arabian and thoroughbred breeders in the industry. My dad loved thoroughbreds over any horse. He bred them, trained them for show or race, and rescued them. And Glennis says, yes, the snoring from Frenchie's pugs, etc. I feel bad for them.
I think this horse prettier than you.
Yeah, I fell in love with this one pretty much as soon as I saw the picture, but I was in a weird emotional state, because my father had just passed, but still, I'm really glad I got her. and she's nothing special as far as breeds go. She's she's got pit bull and lab and German shepherd in her. And Glennis says, I worked for an Arabian farm here in Florida that sold horses to William Shatner. Yeah, I heard he was a horseman.
Let me get this off, girl.
Oh, interesting. So, I was watching like a Linda Carter. If you remember Linda Carter, she was Wonder Woman. And she did, in the 90s, she did a series that I suppose it was trying to be like a Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman series, but with Linda Carter, and I don't remember what the title of it was, but yeah, it was like pre-revolutionary America, so the Brits were still in charge. Oh, it was like it was a TV version of The Last of the Mohicans, but they had written a character for Linda Carter. And when you saw her horse riding, Linda Carter knows how to ride horses. You could just tell the way she was handling the horse that she knew what she was doing, as opposed to like, what's her name? Who played Eowyn? Who's basically just riding a barrel. Glynis says mixed breeds are the best. Glynis, Sadie says you're the best. At any rate, friends, that's about all I have for you tonight. I really appreciate all of you being here. Shout out to new channel member Riff Magos. Thank you, friend. And welcome to Team Super Antonio. Shout out to channel member Glynis Coleman as well. In addition to David and O-Dog. Can't forget about you. Shout out to the mods. New mod Miko and Papa One and Mama One. And, of course, David and O-Dog. Thoughts and prayers for Serena. Miranda Otto. No, I was thinking of, like, Miranda Otto played, was that Eowyn? Yeah, that was Eowyn. What's the name of the elf? I should know this, Frodo. At any rate, tomorrow night we shall be discussing The Joker. What's that about for movie night? Enjoy the rest of your evening. Me and Sadie are going to go watch Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And we shall return tomorrow night. Thank you, David and Chrissy. Love you guys. And thank you for yet again, another successful stream. Liv Tyler, that's who I was thinking about, Frodo. Liv Tyler was Arwen. Yeah, she was riding a barrel on the back of a pickup truck. And then they had this stunt rider that